All right, welcome back everyone to the Insomnia Truesilver Championship. I'm Noxious, and with me still Lothar. We're
Hi
going to be
guys.
casting the next game. I don't know exactly who the players will be, unless I'm mistaken. We've just casted Noctis and Alu, and we don't know the exact names of the guys coming up,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
the
we
admins
know, we
of it.
know.
Do you?
It's Moody versus C4MM
All right,
or
cool. So we
Cam,
got Camlan.
I guess so.
Camlan?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, brilliant. Lead speak for the win. So we're going to be continuing on with the open qualifiers again. The format, for those of you who might have just tuned in, it's a best of 5, last hero standing, no ban. So people bring 3 decks. They have to be the last one standing, basically. If you lose with a deck, you can't replay with it. This is very different from Conquest, which we've seen a lot of in the past year. Now, a lot of tournament organizers are kind of thinking of going back to last hero standing. I think the pro players are talking about that quite a bit.
Yeah, and after a year, it will be the same situation. Everyone will be fed up with last hero standing. Then we'll go back to Conquest or something else that will be developed in the meantime. And then after a year, we'll go back to Conquest if it wasn't like the Conquest on the, upcoming year.
Previous
So
year, sure.
it will be a circle of metagames when it comes to tournament formats. At least, I mean, I can agree that last hero standing has more. How do you say that? Is requiring
Strategic value.
players. Yeah, it requires players to think more of deck building, thinking more of a complete strategy for the tournament, thinking more about the metagame. And I think that's very valuable. But the amount of time that you have to spend to prepare properly for a tournament is astonishing, really. If you want to do it like from every single side that you want to approach the tournament. So pro players definitely might be kind of fed up with it after a short time because if
Yeah,
they
I
will
know
keep
Strife
up
Crow
with the
hates it.
amount, yeah, because of the amount of tournaments that you will have to play, this might be kind of exhausting, you know?
Yeah, no, for sure, I can totally relate to that. The amount of work you have to put in may not be something you want to realistically do long term. For now, we have Camlan playing his. By the way, he is 1-0. We are going into the second game that they had. They've already started the match. Camlan has already won with this mech druid. I want to call it mech druid because I can't imagine it's anything else. And Moody is playing a Reno Jackson warlock. It's not something you see every day, but it's probably going to be coming up a little bit more in the future. So as far as the matchups go, I can't say I've seen too much mech druid. The only player that I've ever seen play this is Dog, right? And that was kind of a long time ago. It's been a long time.
I think so. That was a very long time ago, actually. I didn't see Magdroid for a really, really
Yeah,
long
6
time.
months. Solid 6 months.
True.
And oh wow, that's a tricky position if you're Moody. I mean, the Reno Jackson really gives you the ability to get yourself some health back as soon as things go wrong, but without an AoE, how do you deal with this? If you play the Void Caller, does he trigger it? Does he ignore it? Does he keeper it? Maybe you won't even get Mal'Ganis out. This is looking a bit dangerous. He's gonna go and make sure that there's no Shredder coming up on turn 3 from Haevion.
Well, that makes sense because the shredder would just complicate this whole a lot more, right? So I like this, even though it gets traded by the mech warper and doesn't really achieve anything apart from the fact that there is no pile to shredder. Actually, does it make sense that if you're planning on playing the Void Caller, doesn't it make sense to just have the Palta Shredder on board? Because it trades
It's
directly.
a one-for-one trade. Yeah, exactly. But I think he was more worried about Keeper of the Grove than anything else. But he can't play around that anyway, right?
Interesting.
Maybe Mechanical Yeti? I don't know. All I know is that right now, Haevion is able to put down the pain, where Moody is going to have to be playing a bit from behind. Now, what Haevion could do here is play the Annoyotron to deny the ability for Moody to trade away his Void Caller. Unfortunately, you're also worried about Shadow Flame. Yeah, and speaking of the devil,
there's the big guy.
That's scary if you're Haevion. Very scary. Demon Wrath almost wipes you out.
And people are playing one Demon Wrath. Oh, this is very interesting because you can't really... God, I think you had just play a Neutron and
And
second
hero power?
Cogmaster. No, Cogmaster, I guess.
Okay.
Because you have to just put minions on board and hope he doesn't have a clear, because he's playing. Well, actually, he's not really sure that this is a Reno Jackson deck yet, right?
He doesn't know yet, right? But I like this. The armor plating here prevents the coil, right? There's not going to be any cycling from Mortal Coil. Maybe it's actually a better thing for Haevion that the Mal'Ganis is out early. That way, there's no more surprise coming up, right? But the problem is it's letting his opponent draw into whatever he wants for a while. But right now, I think Haevion's going to be happy to see nothing else come out of this turn. Yeah, I almost want to say that Haevion's got the edge at the moment until things start stabilizing with, the Belcher, Reno Jackson, the Doomguard as well. But you can't Doomguard until you're Reno. Oh man, Bran Bronzebeard, Doomguard.
That's fantastic.
Double Fist of Jaraxxus.
Okay. Well, double Big Game Hunter is so annoying, man. It kills your Dr. Boom twice. For the next game,
Yeah, the next time you drop it, imagine if there's actually a glitch where the card has an ID, right? And when the card dies to BGH, its ID gets killed, so that next game the ID dies again. This is totally Hearthstone-like, by the way. This is the kind of glitch I expect Hearthstone to have. Alright, so this is kind of this would have been an amazing turn for Haevion had he not seen the Belcher here, but he's still going to be able to play the Spider Tank and kill the Belcher completely.
And that's true, and this is what we talked about, Savage Roar, right? It's just a powerful card in itself. Amazing. You basically don't lose anything on the board because of Savage Roar and the Divine Shield. It's such a powerful combination. It's like a bigger abusive sergeant without legs.
The question is, do you just hero power down, trade the 4-2, and keep Savage Roar for a lethal? That must have been in the back of his mind. That must have been in the back of his mind.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, what if Molten Giant Reno Jackson? Do you attack face here? You kind of have to because you don't have Savage Roar number 2, or do you wait for Boom? How do you
have
this?
to attack. You have to.
Yeah. Alright, so no Molten Sun Fury for you, mate. It's not happening. No Molten Defender.
3, 6, 10, 11 damage. That is threatening Moody next turn. So do you go for the Emperor?
Do you play a Reno?
No, you can't play Reno because
you can't.
Reno basically seals the game like safe for 2 turns, but you don't do anything. Because Reno is a how to say that, failsafe mechanic, right? In this deck. So you need that card to get away from the finishing move. But this is played when your opponent doesn't have minions on board already, or just has 1 or 2 maybe. Not when he has 4, and he can actually just deal the damage that you healed yourself with almost 1 swing.
So Haevion here is thinking to himself, I'm representing Swipe and Drew the Claw, right? Like I can win next turn if he's afraid of Swipe, Drew the Claw, Savage Roar number 2. If he does that, he's going to go all in on the heals, and that's good for me. So Moody feels like, because there's about, what, 1, 2, 3, 5 to 6 cards that kill him in Haevion's remaining deck, he feels like he has to heal. I don't think that's necessarily inappropriate when you've got BGH that can deal with some of the bigger threats late game. And you've got the ability to get more mana. You can get Bran Bronzebeard with Defend of Argus. That's going to buff up your board substantially later on.
I mean, that you're playing around second Savage Roar, Swipe, and Force of Nature, and Druid Glow. So that's 4 cards. So that's 7 copies in the deck. That's a lot. So I can justify playing the Reno, but how do you win from this point?
So if you go for BGH, there's what, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 on board. So there still needs to be 6 found, right?
Well,
this turn, if you play just BGH and pass, next turn you can get Bran Defender with Giant, probably, right? You go Bran, you play Molten, you play Defender. That way you get a crazy Giant, it's a 10-10, you get a 4-6 Bran Bronzebeard. If you're not dead.
I think it's just this turn you are pushed to use Big Game
That's it.
Hunter, Defender Vargas.
All right, if you have to play the 4-3, then so be it. Little graphical glitch here. BGH resuming his antics as a 0-0 Warlock card.
Yeah, and no,
Wow,
no
I
presence
haven't
on
seen
the board.
that in forever, man.
I haven't seen that yet at all.
I've seen it multiple times in the past. It used to be a classic glitch. It's the classic, classic BGH shenanigans. A lot of cards do that when they're not loaded properly. So if the Boombot goes nowhere, it means the BGH took it. Nope. The Fen of Argus goes down.
Interesting. So it's quite difficult to explain to the viewers that are joining right now what's happening, but
there is an invisible BGH on this board.
with taunt.
Just right, and it has taunt. It's a 4-3 BGH with taunt.
I'm really
you can't see it.
I'm really waiting for the moment when a spider tank will attack into that, and
nothing.
it will die.
It dies to nothing. Oh my god.
Okay, let's see that. Let's see that happening. This is the first time I will see that. And oh wait. There it is.
Oh, there we saw it. And now this guy's
look
like,
at that.
I'm not leaving the board, guys. I'm never
This
leaving
is
the board.
immortal.
And Spectator mode goes, you know, I'm gonna go full Blizzard mode on you guys and glitch. So, welcome to Hearthstone, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed the viewership. By the way, we know that the Warlock is very low on health. He's on 14 with that Molten at 4. He can Hellfire, kill everything but the Spider Tank, who's going to be left at 1. And he's going to be able to play the Molten for 1 and then play the Doomguard next turn if he wants to. So for now, it's still a little clunky. There's a 3-1 Spider Tank on Haevion's side with a spare part. I have no idea what it is. And we have a lot of invisible minions right now just doing their thing.
But it's kind of hilarious. I mean, this is the first time I see that happening. Let me message the admin.
This is not the first time I've seen it because, it's happened a lot in the past when the spectator mode was new. But it seems like every patch Blizzard has a 27.3% chance to reintroduce an older bug. It's like there's RNG in the spectator mode's functionality.
Okay.
All right, well, I have no idea what Haevion drew, so it's very difficult to make an educated guess as to what's going on here.
That was unnecessary. But yeah, we'll be right back into the game, so don't worry, guys. We're not going anywhere. We're just fixing the glitch.
We're victims of Blizzard spectator mode, man. That's it. That's all.
What do we need?
That's all it is.
What do you think? How can be the spectator mode upgraded? What options does it need apart from better work environment in general? But what else would you incorporate? Did you think about it?
Well, if I could actually get a caster mode, right? If spectator mode had the ability to show you like full information, if they made a special client for casters, considering the amount of interest there is for Hearthstone, I feel like that would be a natural next step.
Okay.
Right, just like a caster view. But I would give you the ability to know, the mana cost, the previous turns in more detail if you want to browse it, if you feel like that's necessary. At the end of the game, maybe a replay, save replay on the spectator if you feel like you need to see that later on.
That's something that has to be incorporated in general, because it will help the players a lot to see their mistakes and learn from them. That's way easier than just to make, screenshot of the game, like Lavkut does it, and then
look at my Gyazo link. It's totally reflecting what happened in the past 9 turns.
Yeah, exactly. So,
good.
this is something that is inconvenient for the players, and definitely I would love it to see that in the game.
Yeah. I think they're gonna do it one day, but spectator mode, they weren't really happy about. It's not that they weren't happy. Is that initially when the game was in alpha, we told them we're gonna need spectator mode, Blizzard, because we're gonna make this a competitive game, and they said no, we're gonna take it where the community wants it. We don't think it's necessarily our focus to make it competitive. And the next thing you know, as soon as it's out, 1 week into the closed beta, tournaments were being started, and Blizzard realized, well, maybe we have to make a spectator mode. Let's try to turn this Unity game into something that we can view. let's try to make a lot of code for this that we've never thought we had to. So they've definitely been taken by surprise by what happened with Hearthstone, but they've upgraded, to Unity 5, I think. So that's going to give them a bit more flexibility and compatibility in the future to where they can maybe expand on the spectator mode. I'm hoping that in 5 years, or like let's say in 2 years, right? In 2 years, they've been able to develop all those external fluffy features that we as players and casters want.
That's true. And from my perspective, Hearthstone has a very long life ahead of the game because, I mean, I judge just by auto card games, and auto card games are not that easily accessible by the amount of players that we have in Hearthstone. And yet, though, we know that Magic is 20 years, it's 20 years alive in the scene, right? And it's doing great and it's doing better each year. So I guess if Hearthstone would be just getting good cards and good expansions, timely expansions every single year, this might be a very, very long-lived game. If that's the correct phrase, but yeah. So there'll be a lot of
perfect phrase.
There will be a lot of time to improve it and improve other things that we'll see into the game, because you have to be aware this is practically new. I mean, even if you watch an example Counter-Strike Go, you know that Valve didn't incorporate a good spectator mode till I think 2013 or something like that.
All I know is that I played that game way too much when I was a kid, and tournaments were a complete nightmare. If there even were some, because the way to do it was to have like player camera, and you couldn't see anything from it. So it's a matter of time before Blizzard actually puts in what they've got. But by the way, we've got the first results. We know that the Warlock ended up winning in this case. Moody, I think, took the win over the his opponent playing Mech Druid. So Mech Druid is going to be knocked out.
True.
So we're going to see more Reno Jackson Warlock.
We'll see
the
in
next
second,
game. We didn't get to see the finish because everything crashed on us. But by the time the next game starts, we should be back in the client. That's
so we're just waiting for the players to pick up the decks. Basically, that's it.
Right.
Let me just message.
And also one thing I want to touch on about the whole lifespan of Hearthstone is...
that was the correct phrase I was looking for. Lifespan.
Right. It's got a lot ahead of itself, ahead of it, depending on whether or not Blizzard releases more cards and expansions like League of Explorers, in my mind. I think League of Explorers hit the nail on the head when it comes to using randomness with Discover, using the digital medium with Discover, popping 3 random cards. And that's not the case with every single expansion they've had, but that's definitely been the best for me.
Yep, definitely.
All right. So Moody's perspective this time around.
That Demon Wrath.
Don't worry, Lux. The cavalry's here.
Yeah, so there's apparently there's a big problem with Haevion's Camelin perspective. That's what's happening. Okay. And this is why we switched to Moody. Makes sense. The spectator showed us the middle finger, and we have to switch. But we're going further into the match.
Yeah, Void Color here is the only upside it's got is that it's gonna get you another body on the board for free, which you don't have to pay for. So effectively, you're paying 4 mana for 6/8, escalated over 2 minions, which can be worth a lot in some cases. So if this Void Color ends up triggering, a trap, then it's gonna be a little bad. But if it brings out a minion, then you're gonna be happy. Alright, so we're not going to be able to see the hand from Haevion for this game, guys, so we'll be seeing this blind from the Warlock perspective, which I think is okay. I don't really mind it. We can probably make assumptions as to what the plays should be. Playing blind can sometimes be pretty fun.
Especially when you play a control deck, because that requires quite a lot of thought, right? To see what is the opponent, which cards did they use, and it's using the top decked one, which were mulliganed. We unfortunately didn't see the start of the game, so that's actually out of the equation. But at the same time, it looks kind of okayish for Moody.
Yeah.
If he will get the Reno Jackson, he's looking awesome.
I feel like we saw like a bear trap with the Iron for Grizzly on the left initially, and 2 Worgen infiltrators, which did nothing. So I feel like Moody's been able to find something very early in the game that he was able to trigger a trap with. And then that gave his opponent the 3-3 that he wiped off with Beating Around. Now, what is that secret? That's pretty important to know, because if it's Freezing Trap, it makes the Void Caller a lot worse. However, if it is, say, Snake Trap, then it will summon the,
Well,
Okay.
he can play with the snake traps, right? But does he want to play around freezing trap? That's the question.
Yeah, that's what I want to know right now. Like, what do you play around? Do you go face, maybe trigger another bear trap?
I think you should just try to trade, and if it's snake trap, too bad. You just have to use Hellfire, basically. Or Shadow Flame? No, Hellfire. Hellfire will
Yeah,
be
you have to
better.
Hellfire.
If it's freezing trap, then you just play another Void Caller, and that's it. Because then if the Void Caller dies, it brings back the Void Caller that was more costly, right?
Right, the one that you had to pay for. Like, you'd have to repay for, basically.
With plus,
So if it
plus
ends up
2 on the
costing
top,
6,
right?
you can bring it out for free. Alright, so Moody's thinking of playing Lotheb here. Maybe the idea here is to get himself a Lotheb back from the Freezing Trap, right? And then you can replay it on 7.
Okay.
It's a little slow if minions come out. But if minions don't come out, if somehow it's only spells, that's a great play. Well, never mind. Ah, now we see the hand. Arcane Golem with the Leper Gnome.
Oh, wow.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
That's a lot of damage.
That's a huge amount of damage.
Oh my goodness. But Haevion here, do you weave in the extra hero power? We've talked about this before, Lothar. It matters a lot. In many cases, that's what you need to do. Get that extra bit of damage in. More so if you expect like a Molten Giant, right? Maybe you don't want to hit it for 4.
Yep. Exactly.
Well, never mind that. We're going in.
Oh, and it kills the Void Caller. That's huge.
Perfect outcome here for Moody. Oh!
My God!
Absolutely unbelievable.
Wait.
Can you
But he's
trigger it,
pushed-
please?
Now let's think. There's a trap, right? So if you attack, you know, it's like a combination between attack and the tap.
A tap, yeah.
So if you attack with the Void Caller here and bring it back to your hand. No, you attack with the minion. You want to check for spiders, right? Because if it's spiders, then you can clear with Shadow
You can
Flame.
clear the board exactly with a Shadow Flame, but then you can't play Reno though, right?
But I think you can play Reno this turn. Because you will
30
get
health, Lothar. 30 health.
But you will get
You can life
7,
that
9,
first.
11. You will get 11 damage.
You got a Reno.
Okay, well, he went for the face, so I guess he knew that it will be an explosive trap, and this is the
I
reason
think he
why.
has some. Right. Maybe he's got information as to what this is. All I know right now is that Moody's in a great spot. He needs to find taunts, granted, but he's still in an amazing spot. He might dip low enough that he'll need to find Healbot, maybe Mal'Ganis, maybe Jaraxxus, but he's got outs in the deck to keep himself alive. When he finds, you know, Defensive Argus with Brand Bronzebeard, Brand Bronzebeard with a Healbot is stellar. Brand Bronzebeard with Twi Drake is pretty solid. Oh man. Alright. More health.
Sacrificial Pact? Are you crazy, man?
You know how good this is, though, right now? With all the people playing funny demon decks. Like, you got you got
Funny
people
demon
playing
deck.
Zoo decks. Like Zoo with the new Reliquary Seeker, playing with Doom Guards. Some people are tweaking it to include those. Then you have all the Reno Jackson lock opponents. I know that Just, Saiyan, and Surrender were playing that, I think, on ladder in the first few days of the expansion, which made Sacrificial Pact a viable tech card, I kid you not. So the inclusion of it seems kind of sensible.
Okay. I can understand that. I mean, the problem is that would you risk that on ladder?
Sure, why not? You can always sack back your own implosions.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Interesting.
It's not the best necessarily, but it's definitely something we have to do.
Some technical problems. We'll be right back, guys. Okay, I guess we're back.
Yeah, I guess I'm back at least.
Well, me too, but I don't see the screen yet.
Masterful. I concede.
So we're just waiting to the screen to reappear, but it looked very good for Moody that turn.
Yeah, this Reno Jackson lock seemed like it was doing a lot of work, like a whole lot of work.
And we're back, almost. Meow, that's my cat.
Is it?
No.
Drew the saber.
Yeah, that's my
Oh my
Druid
God.
saber. Look how big it is. Say something. There's one too. Anyway, it seems like Moody won the game, obviously,
And he's
now
2-1 right now.
and he's still playing with the Reno Jackson.
Yeah,
It's
I think
amazing.
this deck is surprised. I think it's one of the most effective decks that came out of the expansion. At least, like, we're talking mid-release, right? We're not done with the entirety of the adventure mode. So maybe when everything is kind of fleshed out, the deck will fall out. But for now, it's one of the most effective decks that came out of it, and it's been surprisingly powerful, despite the fact that it looks like a gimmick. Reno Jackson looks like a gimmick, but we even saw at Seed Story Cup Super JJ pull off the craziest clutch 1 health restoration. On ladder, Reno Jackson is running amok. Even in Control Warrior, people play it there.
Yeah, I mean, I love the cards, the Reno Jackson card design. It's just amazing what they did with this card. The thing that it single-handedly changed the whole approach to the game, to the how you build the decks. It's amazing.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's doing what something like Sense Demons wants to do, right? Or
Yeah,
Deathlord.
exactly.
You know those cards that interact with your deck and let you fetch things? Like, they affect the way you build your deck in many ways. The thing is that Reno Jackson, because it's giving you a condition to the way your deck has to contain a specific amount of cards, it's really unique in that way. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if one day we saw, you know, a card that said, if your deck contains, you know, a certain amount of demons, then do something specific. So
I
you
would
have
love
kind of a
those type of
demon-specific Reno Jackson. Yeah, exactly, right? That would be super awesome. To where you find it early in the game and then it gives you a crazy effect. Or, alternatively, if your deck contains demons, you take a lot of damage, but if you're late game, then the card doesn't have a drawback, right?
Or-
So,
Yeah, an example, you get 1 damage for each demon in your deck.
right, exactly. But the idea is that you have to play it with demons because it affects demons. There's like a lot of things they could do, right? And I think that design is really compelling, and that's why I love Reno Jackson decks, and especially the Warlock ones, because they have so many one-of tools that it can be fine with. Just based on the amount of archetypes they've had, they can play a variety of deck play, play styles in their deck, and I think it's going to take a while before we see every class come up with Reno. I think Druid's probably the next on the list. We've seen Warrior pull it off, we've seen Shaman try it. You know, they're pretty good with one-ofs, but it's still not quite there.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first 2 weeks with the card. I mean, there will be a lot of stuff to change still in the decks and in the upcoming expansion. I can't really wait for the next upcoming big expansion. This will be something to look for. I'll be looking forward to.
I feel like I want to know what's up in the next one, because this is adventure mode, so we have like 50 cards. It's a small amount, yet it's still like it's been changing the meta quite a lot. I want to see what 150 new cards with the type of design they've embraced can do.
Yeah, at the same time, isn't it just like every single time we have a new adventure, it just shakes the metagame so much that not a single expansion did, even though it has like 4 times the cards.
Yeah, because adventures are very targeted. They tried to fix a niche that isn't filled up yet. Oh my goodness. Alright, so let's see if there's the 5 secrets here for Haevion.
3
It's only
secrets.
3.
Well,
so I
he has
don't
competitive
expect
spirit and
repentance,
avenge.
right?
Yes, he has 1 competitive spirit in his hand. I guess that's the only one, and I guess so. There's no repentance and there's no sacred trial, right?
Yeah, looks like more of a standard list. We'll see exactly what's going to happen here, but Sylvanas is going to put a huge threat on the board. Haevion is not going to like that, because right now, even though, you know, Sylvanas looks a little irrelevant, the moment that it can die, which can be just about next turn. If Moody wants to kill her, he can just Dark Bomb it and use Demon Wrath to clear the board, and still whatever's left, it's big.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
It's going to be very problematic for Haevion here. But he's got a turn with a lot of damage. He's got 12 damage, possibly 2 more. He's going to go up to 14.
Oh my god!
Oh!
Well, without the Dr. Boom, it would look really good for Moody because, as you said, he has huge amount of damage this turn, but he can't really finish the game because he's a Paladin, and Paladin has almost no access to burst, right? So that's the problem.
Right. So if Moody ends up using something like a, obviously a Demon Wrath, the Dark Bomb kind of play here, what could he steal? So if you start with Demon Wrath, you are guaranteed to get Dr. Boom or the 6/6, right? And then you can Dark Bomb. I mean, technically you could Implosion with a lot of luck.
Well, the
No,
bombs
that's not worth it.
the bombs can instantly kill the Sylvanas, right?
It's
That's
either good or
also-
bad, right?
Yes,
It's
exactly.
Like, depending on how things go. Because if they hit you in the face for... Although, here's the deal. You have Molten Giant with Sun Fury, so even if they hit you in the face, you're okay with that. Whoa. Oh my
Okay.
goodness. He's gonna make sure the bombs don't go anywhere bad, and he's gonna kill everything.
But why wouldn't you take advantage of Sylvanas?
Whoa!
Okay.
Whoa! I like this. This is forcing Haevion to make the trade anyway.
But he has Cockhammer.
But you still can't attack with that unless you make a 1/1. So then it's a matter of
Oh
using.
yeah, right.
your-
What I'm talking about. Okay. So you have to attack
Haevion here
first.
is in the worst of spots.
Yeah, he has to
This
attack
is
first with
terrible.
with Dr. Boom and then play Tyrion.
I think so. I think that's exactly what Moody was hoping. He was probably hoping never to see like Tyrion, but his idea is Haevion has to make the trade anyway at some point. Might as well make him make it here. Actually, this might be the moment where Haevion ends up winning, right?
Might be.
Because of that Tyrion forging.
Yes. When you think about it, it's just crazy. Turn 6, he dropped from the top of the deck the Mysterious Challenger. Turn 7, he dropped from the top of the deck Dr. Boom. Turn 8, he will drop Tyrion from the top of the deck on the board. 6, 7, 8. Perfect.
And 9 is going to be Megan your Thermoplug with all the little 1/1 imps. I mean, right now he can still like kill everything, right? Because he's got Abusive Sergeant, he's got the Dark Bomb, he can always taunt up something if he wants to, which he probably does. So the weapon from the Tyrion is still not going to be as impactful as Haevion might want it to be.
Yeah, that's true.
Does go. Oh, he's got the Abusive Sergeant BGH option with. Yeah, that gives him a board, but it's very vulnerable to Consecration. Everything's kind of vulnerable to Consec. But you're still not dead, because it's only a weapon hit plus a Consec. So you'd live. And then you can play your Molten. Okay, now here's my question to you, Lothar. How scared is Haevion of Reno Jackson coming down right now?
I guess a lot.
How do you
But-
feel? Oh, this is miserable. Yeah, better get
I mean,
the life taps in. Close to lethal, but not quite. Moody playing a very greedy game. He's like, I don't really have to try too hard, do I? And the answer is no, Moody, you don't.
There's only one possibility of Haevion making a comeback here, and it's a quality consecration. And it's it. There's no other thing.
Yeah, so Moody's probably not worried about much. Is that Reno Jackson Warlock taking a 3-0? Well,
I
3-1
think so.
rather over Haevion, but it played 3 matches, obviously, but it swept the entire lineup from Camlin.
Well, it had some good draws, and it's even crazy when you think about it that Haevion had an impressive turn 6 and 7, right? And somehow it still didn't quite work well. So, well, that's quite amazing. I mean, congratulations to Moody. Moody is a Romanian player, and that is known for being for taking part twice already during her Bucharest. And one time he was top 8, if I remember correctly. One time he was top 16. So he's quite known in Romanian scene, and he's perceived as a very good player. So yeah, we'll see
The RD
him.
is 0.0. Nihilum
he's actually-
recruiting from Romania.
He's actually, if I remember correctly, RDU is also like one of the partners, practice partners of RDU in Romanian scene. You know,
Interesting. Didn't know that. That's good to know. And obviously I meant G2. I did not mean Nihilum. That being said, guys, we can probably go straight to the next match. I